to this Gaelic Gaming Division 2 match. I am David Hafgezz McElroy.
And I'm Sleepy Old Voa, and we're here to cast this game between Fr0stbyte versus Legion of the Octopope. Immediate Jackson Lee Sin ban coming out from these teams. What do you think about that, Hafgezz?
I think the Jackson Lee Sin bans, they're kind of a very high level of meta ban right here. Lee Sin is an incredibly strong jungler. If you're a competent jungler, you're able to do the famous insect kick, which is you drop a ward behind the target after you've used a resonating strike and gap close onto them. You hop to the ward behind and you kick the guy into your team. He's also got a solid cast, a clear speed, and very painful and powerful ganks because he puts out a lot of damage early to mid game. And then he just forms a really nice peeling champion to protect your carries late game and can catch people out really well. It's just a very all-rounded champion. So it's very good to get rid of him to make sure no one can really give you pain. Jax, solid top lane champion that can snowball out of control. Not much more needs to be said, really.
And we're seeing a lot of assassins getting banned out here. Ari, Zed, and all banned out straight away. And Thresh being removed from the pool for the supports. Thresh, obviously, an amazing playmaker. You land, like, even though Hook's been nerfed recently, if you land, or has that even gone through yet? I think it has.
That's gone through. Yeah. The cooldown on it was increased.
Yeah.
And then the cooldown gets reduced slightly if you actually hit a target with the death sentence. That's when it works.
But then again, it's the threat of the skill, not the actual cooldown that's the real deal with Thresh.
Of course.
Him walking in front of the minion wave and being like, hey, I've got this hook, what are you gonna do about it? And we're seeing Shen getting picked up by Team Blue right now, and they are going to run. That's obviously a really, really defensive option. Just having a Shen jump into your lane and be like, hey, this guy I'm jumping on now has an extra, what is it, like 300, 550? It's a big shield.
It becomes about 800. That could be... I'm taking shots in the dark here. I should really know that number. Either way, it becomes a massive shield when the Shen is finally level 16. And also, it makes diving really hard, knowing that Shen is level 6. If you try and go for a 3-on-2 tower dive or a 2-on-1, it's really difficult for you to actually make sure that it'll land. With the ability for that Stand United to come out of nowhere, bring down some more CC, it's just really awkward to use. And then if the team with the Shen is in the lead, they're able to go ahead and then make those plays saying, here's a diving champion, here we're seeing Sejuani being picked up, and say, we're going to go straight into your tower, and there's an even more reduced risk of us taking any casualties here because we've got this huge shield and another guy coming out here who can tank it up because he's really tanky, and then we can knock you down with some crowd control as well. It's just really, it's a very safe and solid pick to pick up.
Yep. Interesting on the Galtrax Nocturne there. Like, one of the bigger threats with Shen is late game split push because he can be in the team fight globally, and he's I think he's the only champion now that has a truly global ulti that repositions himself. Like, Karthus obviously has a global ulti, but he stays wherever the hell he died or is at the current moment. Whereas Shen can be like, oh look, I'm pushing your top lane, team fight breaks out in bottom, no problem, my AD carry has 800 more health, and then I'm tanking everything.
Yeah,
Nocturne's an interesting kind of pseudo counterpick for that because his ultimate doesn't have, lane to lane range, but it does mean that they can commit someone to the mid game to try and do a counter split push or to be in position to come in and assist with ganks much, much easier. And obviously the other picks are Jinx and Elise. Elise still pretty strong even after a couple of style of gaming nerfs or quality of life nerfs. That's what it was. The fact that her spiders no longer tank towers when she jumps on someone.
Yeah. So you can still use those spiders if you position it well, so that the spiders go in first. If there are no minions and you need to take down the tower, you can position it so the spiders do go in first and start to tank it up. But it's just when you come down, they won't initially tank it. One thing I'm really, really excited to see is Jinx. Now, I've still done a lot of casting in the last week since Jinx has been released, and I've only managed to cast one game with her. She's either been banned or just not picked up, and I am really happy to see her being picked in this game. She's a really fun champion, so much flavour. For anyone here who's watched any of my casts before, or for the past week or so, you'll know how much I love this champion. She is crazy fun to play. And then, of course, the music video and the song that came with her just brought the hype right the way up, and now we get to see her in another game. It's going to be really good to see. I'm very excited for it.
She's definitely an interesting champion. I haven't had a chance to sit down and play her myself yet, but from what I know of her skills, her Rocket gives her an AoE splash with a pretty decent range increase. I'm not sure what the actual hard number on that range is, but it's interesting to run a Jinx Lulu lane because this means that her bonus range plus the initial target that she's hitting with the actual rocket launcher will also get hit by the picks, whatever damage that is, whenever Lulu tags Jinx, which makes it a really interesting kind of, oh look, you're just barely outside my range, now you're not, style of mind game.
I think that's going to be a really hard lane for Fr0stbyte to deal with here, because the bonus range, at max rank it's 175, at rank 1 it's 75, and it goes up 25 range incrementally for each one you take. Along with the picks damage and then the glitter lance that's going to be coming out of Lulu, it's going to be really, really painful. Along with the zap as well, the slows, the ability then to snare using Jinx's grenades that come down. Like, it's going to be a really painful lane for Awesome Saurus Rex and Button Masher to deal with. I'm going to look forward to watching that bot lane there. It's going to be a very strong lane between both teams. They're both going to have to play really well to make sure things are tied together really nicely.
I may lag out at some point during this cast, and hopefully you can pick up the solo cast for it.
Oh yeah,
sorry, I just noticed a slight issue with my net connection there. You went slightly robot voice. Anyway, bot lane is going to be really interesting because it's going to be a case of can Omega Crab Legs use the, what are they called? Chomp grenades?
Yeah. Flame chompers, that's the one.
Name? Flame chompers. If he can use the flame chompers correctly, he will be able to snare Ezreal for long enough that he'll be able to hopefully take him down with the pretty substantial burst that Jinx has. But if he's not, he will get kited for days. That's one of the biggest power plays for Ezreal, is the fact that he is a really, really slippery little bugger to catch.
Yeah.
And he will just Q you from max range, he'll just arcane shift away every time he's up. And there's very little you can do about it, especially when he has a Sona tagging along, boosting his damage, boosting his survivability. But at the same time, Sona is still pretty squishy. If you can tag her with a few shots, it should upset the lane slightly and give you the aggression advantage. I'm not sure how the Shen Elise lane is going to go through. I imagine that's in the advantage for Elise.
Yeah, Elise, she always has been a massive lane bully up in that top lane, really strong in her bruisery state. She can of course rush that Sunfire Cape to go 1v1 and not take a lot of damage from that Shen. The nerfs have hit top lane Elise pretty hard, given with all the damage reduction and mana increases and the cooldowns increases as well that have gone with it. She's not the best thing to do, but with this Nocturne as well, the gank potential onto Rogue Samurai is still going to be pretty strong. In a 2v2, Sejuani and Shen have got, I'm just going to call it now, they haven't really got a good chance against a Nocturne and Elise in a 2v2. So I reckon that top lane's really going to go in favour of Octopope there and Gaiusman. In terms of jungle pressure, going to be interesting. I think quite a lot of this game will come down to how the junglers pressure on through. One of them won't be able to sit back, and we could see Galdrak here on that Nocturne sitting back and going and just pushing for 6 to make those paranoia ganks come out. But I don't reckon that won't be as good for his team if we see Galdrak sitting back. We're going to have to see some incredibly strong laning coming out of everyone here to make sure that his lack of presence isn't felt, as it were, because Canarius, with that Sejuani has really strong ganks from level 3 right the way through to the end of the game. Obviously at level 6 she picks up the AoE stun on her ultimate, which is amazing, but she's still got a gap close, a slow, and some really decent damage as well.
I would argue that Galdrak getting his level 6 will be one of the key ways to win this game, simply because that if he can hit that level 6 and start making the darkness ganks, he'll be doing it from a position where Sejuani should only be level 4/5, depending on how her ganks went. He'll outlevel her slightly. He won't have as much gold if the ganks went well for her, but he will have more cash if they went badly. So essentially, it's on him to make the call of, do I gank now, yes, no, at level 4 or level 2. At level 2, it's on him to make the call whether or not he wants the... if the lanes are correctly pushed, he can make that call straight away and be like, no, there needs to be a gank right the hell now. And if the lanes are in favor for his team, if they're, a disadvantage for him to gank, so they're all pushing forward, he needs to make the call to get the farm, get fatter, and get his 6 as fast as possible so he can commit to really long-range ganks, make the wards completely pointless, and his team need to invest in wards to make Sejuani's ganks pointless.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But then again, I often have a problem calling games, and things often go flying into my face. So we'll have to see how this actually pans out. Now, I imagine mid lane is actually going to be fairly boring, because Lux is really, really strong, but she's very, very dry. She makes all her farm really guaranteed through use of Luminescent Singularity?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever her ball is, her E. She can pretty much guarantee all the range creep last hits, plus most of the melee creep last hits between that and her passive. Her Q is insanely strong. The snare is ridiculous range, and the lockdown, if it hits the primary target, is really, really good. A couple of wards in mid lane, and she will be right as rain until she gets her big-ass laser beam. And she should be fine. Yeah. I don't think it's called that anymore. I think it's actually called, like, Luminescent Singularity or something?
That's right. Either way, her big laser, we all know it as the big-ass laser that just comes down and blows things up.
The double rainbow.
Double
the big-ass rainbow.
Oh
the goddamn double rainbow with a 26-second cooldown.
Final spark.
Start a team fight, end. Yeah, that's what it's called these days. Start a team fight, end a team fight.
Yeah, but between the two lanes, it's really good actually because of the assassins being banned out. I think the only one that wasn't banned out there was Zed, or
no, he got banned.
Fizz. One of them was left out for a thrash ban. And so what we have now is two actual AP casters going at it in the mid lane, which is really refreshing to see at the current meta where assassins just dominate everything. Both of these champions as well, they may not be very mobile, but they've got a reasonable escape on Orianna using the dissonance to speed herself up, slow down the ganker, and then Lux, if she can land the bindings there, the light bindings, to just completely stop anyone coming in for her. She has a way of getting safely to the tower, and then they both have shields as well to make sure that they stay safe under that tower. So it'll be... Ooh, minor disconnect right at the start.
Yeah. They'll just pause, and they'll give us more time to talk about what's going to happen here.
Yeah. It'll be quite strongly influenced by the junglers, but there is still that ability to escape. It depends how hard the junglers decide to gank and pay attention to those lanes. It'll be a tough one to call, and very much, as it should be, a skill matchup between these two champions. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them both just completely ignored by the junglers putting most of their pressure onto the bot lane, and them just seeing who can get the most farm and the better trades in the lane, and then see who can roam and make their pressure felt elsewhere, mostly for the dragons and maybe a couple of kills in the outer lanes.
Obviously bot lane, huge priority for every team just because of the fact that dragon spawns pretty early on. I'm not sure on the actual timer for him, like as he spawns. Is it like 5 minutes in?
It's about
or is it from the
4 or 5 minutes,
4 minutes
in.
in?
It's pretty early.
Like,
or maybe it's 2... I can't remember. It's not relevant till about 4 or 5 minutes anyway, when you might get those really early dragon calls going down.
Like what I'm saying is that like with Shen on your team, you have a natural tank built in. With Ezreal, you have a decent bit of DPS, and like the damage out of Sejuani should never be overlooked. You can commit 5 men to take that dragon straight away if you want to. And if you do that, you can get such a goal advantage, such an XP advantage, provided you don't sacrifice a tower for it, provided you don't lose a team fight for it. If you can push your lanes out to the appropriate degree, make a dragon play, and then walk off with that advantage, that's about 1,000 gold total advantage that you can pull out at 5 minutes, which is pretty big. It helps your support out a huge amount if your top laner's struggling a little bit, which I imagine Shen might be doing against this Elise. It will help him out significantly, and it will definitely help the AD carry Snowball a little bit harder. At the same time, like if Shen is losing his lane, he obviously won't have 6 by that time. He won't be able to come down and help out, and if you overcommit to Dragon, that can be even more detrimental, because then you leave yourself open to a steal, you leave yourself open to a 4-man 4v4 immediately after finishing Dragon when you're at your weakest. Admittedly, like, Sejuani has her Q to jump over the wall, Ezreal has his Arcane Shift to jump over the wall, and Sona would need to save Flash for it, because the second she gets caught out, she's dead. So it's going to be very interesting. I don't imagine Dragon's always big in every game, but I'm not sure if these teams are going to focus on it or just try to win their lanes very, very hard.
I reckon with the global ability coming down, just to make split pushing happen so much and then ganks come out of nowhere, we will see a lot of pressure going onto lanes and then hard switches coming out of the pair of them, just saying, look at these mid-game, like middle of the map sort of objectives we've got between Baron and Dragon, and suddenly the power shift can go just all the way over to that, and that's where quite a lot of pressure will be coming down. I reckon it'll be a lot of swinging about with that. Just got to give a quick shout out to everyone on the stream there who are watching and asking about the map colours. I've actually got a custom map pack going on, so it's Autumn Summoner's Rift. Just because I was getting a little bit bored of the main one. Check that out over on the stream there of twitch.tv/Gaelic Gaming. It is slightly duller, and we've got different music in, which is, as someone I think has already pointed out on the stream, it's the old Twisted Treeline music. It's just a little mod I picked up there, so it looks a little bit different.
Is it the autumn, the like whatever they call it here, the harrowing colours?
I don't know if it is the harrowing colours. Oh, there we go. Scenarios is back. That's always good. No, it's just Autumn. I think the download is just Autumn Map or Autumn Rift or something. I can't really remember. It makes the game look a little bit different, which I kind of like.
Nice. All right. So with the reconnect, it looks like we're finally ready to start this match off.
That'll be good to see.
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. And we're into it. For those of you just watching now and wondering what's going on, this is a Gaelic Gaming Division 2 match here between, on the blue team, Fr0stbyte versus Legion of the Octopope on the red side.
And we're seeing really... I think that was a ping from blue side. No, that was a purple ping. They're going straight away to try and just defend their blue secure for the Nocturne, make sure he gets his... and is able to go off ganking with that. It looks like Sejuani is going to be starting red, or they could just be guarding on it. I imagine she'll be starting red, and then going over to blue, and then doing a gank in top lane really, really early, because, like we said, level 3, 4 onwards for Sejuani is a massive power point for her. Sona potentially out of position here? She's okay. She just put down the ward. It's okay.
Keeping things a little bit interesting for us here as we wonder what's going to happen. Galdrak's not actually sat in the brush. He was just taunting out of the brush there.
I think they didn't have vision on him there. If you just check their vision... Oh, now they can see Elise. They can definitely see Elise there. Yeah, a bit of a danger ward there coming out from Sona if they... Elise hadn't... Oh, Elise did skill her E. She could have tried to throw out this... No, wait. Spiderlings lifts into the air. Her repel, her E is her stun, isn't it?
Yeah, the repel and the cocoon that comes out.
Yeah, between light binding and cocoon, I'm surprised they didn't go in and attempt to kill on Sona, who is probably the easiest person on that team to kill. A little bit of a quick command attack there from Oriana to try and scope out if there's anyone in that brush, but there isn't.
Yeah, they're going instead for the very safe sort of starts here. Make sure they get the nice pull off of the duo lanes and bot, and then everyone goes back and resumes their laning in their usual lanes. No swaps, nothing fancy, just a nice, calm start.
Here's an interesting thing. Sejuani has no items.
That is a very interesting thing. It does look like Canarius has just realised that and went, oh, I went a little bit low off of that buff. I'm going to go back, pick up the machete, the pots, and some wards as well, just to make sure everything's going nice and smoothly there for him to keep going through.
On the other hand, he is now carrying 2 wards instead of 5 health pots, which one could easily argue is well worth it. Yeah. Considering that you'd easily pop 2 to 3 health pots to try to take a buff on your own, or even if you're just tanking it with the duo, like we see Nocturne here on like 2 pots remaining. Yeah. Whereas Sejuani still has 4 and is carrying 2 wards, which will give her team a lot more map vision in the early game, which is exactly what they want against Nocturne, if he's planning on doing a heavy gank. Bot lane looks like it might be getting exciting.
Yeah, bot lane, just a bit of pressure. There's a shove coming out from Octopope here saying, we want that level 2, we know how aggressive we are, and they're really making the pressure felt onto Fr0stbyte, who was still level 1. They've only just managed to hit that level 2. And the pain is really coming down with that long-range harass of the Jinx Lulu lane, as there's now a gank in top.
Super early gank, yeah. Super early gank coming in for Sejuani. Repel goes down, Flash goes down. Doesn't look like they're gonna commit anything else to this, but that is Flashdown at least. That's pretty big. Shen struggling a little bit in his lane, obviously, and it looks like we missed First Blood and possibly second.
There's so much action going down all over the map. Flash taunt from Rogue Samurai.
Gonna be a dead Elise for Shen. Lulu barely walks out with any HP. Really, really good aggression there. I'm not sure what happened on bot lane there. Like, Jinx was winning the poke war quite comfortably, and then she's just dead.
Yeah,
quite possibly it was just power chord with Hymn of Valor up on Sona, and then Ezreal going ham with E into Q.
Yeah, there was a lot of aggression came out, and then barriers were popped, and it came up that Omega Scrambleg's Jinx was just a little bit too low, forced to use the barrier, and then the full burst started to come down with the power chord out of Button Masher GG and out of Awesome Sorcerer X. They just put Omega Crab Legs way too low, and ultimately, with that no escape on the Jinx, just killed it.
And it looks like, it was looking for a second there like Cenarius. It looks like he is going back up there. He wants to keep the pressure up on top lane. Like, he knows Shen is going to struggle in his lane, so the easiest way to alleviate pressure in that top lane is to continually camp the Elise and make sure her day is awful.
Yeah.
But it looks like it hasn't quite worked out, and now Elise is going to get a big wave of farm catch up from levels. Looks like he wants to go for a gank in a mid, and Nocturne's having the same idea, but in goes Sejuani. It looks like Orianna might be a little bit out of position. Nope, bump off from Cenarius. Nocturne going to dodge the damage out of the ball. Orianna, no mana, not able to commit anything else to this fight. Cenarius just going to chase the Nocturne away from his Orianna. Orianna going back to farming, no mana, doesn't really care. It's all about the right clicks right now.
Yeah.
And Galtrak too low HP to continue the aggression, but still fine HP to keep jungling with that Nocturne passive especially.
Yeah, really crucial there was that Cenarius was not actually interested in the gank. He tried to position it there for Gigas Leviathan, and Gigas just said, dude, I'm completely out of mana, I can't do anything right now. I can auto-attack, but not much else. And then Galdrak saw it and went straight in for it. Gigas was taking a bit of a beating there from Avinius, and Avinius was actually able to contribute to the gank, whereas Gigas Leviathan couldn't do anything. So both teams just kind of had this really awkward back and forward between them, and everyone just backed off and let it all go. One thing that's interesting on the top lane, Rogue Samurai's gotten oracles.
Yeah, like a 5-minute oracles. I mean, I think he did get that first blood. No, he didn't get first blood, but he did get the early kill. I guess they want to continue keeping pressure on Elise as hard as they possibly can. She's taking a few tower shots there with the Shen taunt. So that's my guess, is the reason they're committing to a super early oracles is trying to de-ward as hard as possible. Make sure... Oh, a pause from Galtrak. Make sure that... Oh, DC on Jinx. But he's completely fine right now, so it's probably fine. Yeah, so it looks like they just want to keep Gaussman down as hard as possible, which will let Rogue Samurai get that 6 really comfortably. He's about a tenth of the way there, and Gaussman is actually halfway to his 6. That was that big creep wave I was talking about, just kind of sitting there. And I feel Rogue Samurai could have pushed it into tower a bit better, like shoved it forward, and maybe it was a mistake. No, it wasn't. Like pushed it forward, tried to get it into the tower range, tried to get some of the creeps at least to push back out without at least taking all the last hits. Like if you look at the farm though, it's actually really close. My guess is that Shen may have shared some of the XP with Sejuani while she was still up there. Sejuani, by the way, 10 full creeps behind Nocturne, and everyone else seems to be pretty even on their farm right now.
Yeah, the heavy gank pressure that's coming down out of Cenarius is really starting to have an effect in the jungle, where Galdrak's only shown top and mid once. We saw the mid gank, and then he also gave a bit of pressure in top lane just to try and help out Gaussman there after receiving such a heavy gank. And it's actually starting to show. The 10 CS lead hasn't actually translated into a level yet, but it will come about soon. I'm going to guess he's about half a level ahead. The assist, of course, on Cenarius giving a bit of work as well. But it'll be interesting to see as they go heavy in bot.
Going really, really ham in there. Ezreal, if he's got one more Q, he might be able to aim it around the Lulu. Oh, Lulu dropping super low. Galtrak coming in, but you can't get anything out of this, son. There's no way that Jinx and Lulu can go back in on it. He might get a lot of XP out of this lane, but that would be essentially it. Omega Crablegs jumping out. Still gets feared. A lot of damage coming on him right now with Galtrak keeping the pressure up. That was just pretty unfortunate timing for him to come in just as bot lane was doing a pretty heavy exchange that went massively in favor of Fr0stbyte there.
Yeah. both junglers just really trying to make themselves felt here. The gold lead is still really minimal despite the 2-kill difference. Obviously, Rogue Samurai threw his away there by picking up an Oracles. Didn't realise there was an undo button that you can use. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget they have implemented that feature right now. You can just undo it. It's been put back in again as of the recent little hotfix that went down. So that is still there. But Rogue Samurai didn't realise this. He just picked up the Oracles. He might have panicked and clicked it, but he has taken 400 gold and thrown it way out of the window. So the items are now pretty even between these two top lanes, despite that first kill and that 10 CS lead.
Scenarios, what are you doing there, son? Does he have the damage to kill the Vinius right now? He may do with that red buff. He's really keeping the pressure up. I don't think he has the damage, though. He is going to force Ivinius to go back, though, with the blue buff, which is going to waste some of the timer on it. Oh. If Galtrack can keep the pressure on, though. Ooh, Scenarios getting... Oh my god, the Q misses! And in comes the Shen ulti. Scenarios uses his flash, Galtrack uses his flash, and Orianna, still no mana, no HP, cannot commit, and cannot help out on this. Rogue Samurai going towards Ivinius, wants to get that kill. He wants to just get another 400 gold, make up for this Oracle. Really good taunt. Really amazing taunt coming out from him in there.
That all came down to that one ward in the side brush there that had been put down. It just meant that throughout that whole exchange, Rogue Samurai had the vision, and so he managed to catch Vinius and get that kill. What's really important is the kill went over to Gigas Leviathan, so that is a blue buff transferred. Now there is no blue buff on Legion of the Octopope, and there is a blue buff now on Gigas Leviathan, which means that Canarius can pick up his own blue buff. That is going to be so big for him in the jungle on that Sejuani. Very mana intense.
Yep.
Means that he can spam out those cooldowns, clear the jungle super fast, and really get some powerful ganks online with that ultimate now available.
He's got a 6, and so does Galtrack, but the difference being that Scenarios just went back, is going to have his boots up more wards. He's been buying an awful lot of wards. I love that. I love it when my jungler commits really heavily to that kind of thing. I think buying no items may have been his idea the entire time, and then just go back immediately. Oh, Geusman getting into huge trouble with Rogue Samurai here. Rogue Samurai just hitting that spider. Just does not like the bug. Wants to throw one more sword. Oh, really good repel to dodge the damage. Rogue Samurai coming in, tanking tower, flash by Geusman, flash back up by Rogue Samurai. Really, really well played by Geusman right there to repel up as the sword was coming out. He's hanging around the tower now. I really wouldn't if I was him, especially, like, he's got the vision for Scenarios. He obviously doesn't want to give up the ward for free, but there's nothing he can really get done here. He has a decent bit of damage, and once he spider forms, he'll still be a little bit tanky, but Rogue Samurai's damage output is really, really high right now. He's got 4 levels into his Vorpal Blade, so that's a lot of damage coming out of that. And it's like 180 on the click, and then, of course, if he has his, what's his passive called again? Key Strike up. That's a lot of burst damage. Rogue Samurai gonna head back. Geusman still gotta hang out on the tower. Gotta pick up some levels from this. Rogue Samurai looks like he wants to go in, but I don't think he should.
He's really keeping a lot of pressure here onto Geusman. He's got that trinity of double Doran's Blade and single Doran's Shield, and he's just waiting for Geusman, who probably thinks he's gone back just to step a little bit out of line. He's really trying, but the spider's revealing him. The taunt misses.
Oh, and Rogue Samurai just gotta take a little quick breather on that. Bot lane. Ezreal picks up a kill with his ultimate on Lulu.
Wow, we completely missed that one there.
Yep,
must
a lot of trades.
Just really put the pressure down there, getting a lot of pain onto the Lulu. She didn't at all use her ultimate to save herself. She clearly thought she was trying to dodge it, and just wasn't able to, and got killed.
Galtrack right now getting picked up by all these wards. Scenarios just putting them down everywhere. By the way, that was a Scenarios ward. That was that mid-brush one that guaranteed the kill on Lux. Rogue Samurai going in really hard at Geusman. Geusman just barely walking this off, though.
Panic from Geusman, put down the Ignite onto Rogue Samurai there. I was just like, no! Here's some fire damage, don't tower dive me, the tower will kill you. I actually think the Rogue Samurai probably could have gone a little bit deeper there. Maybe picked up a kill, but definitely good to keep the safe play. It's a 1-0 on 1 Shen with a 20 CS lead right now. He has no need to tower dive, he's got the advantage, everything is safe and happy for him. Really tight play overall here by Fr0stbyte in this first game.
Uh-oh, no Tribush ward for Legion of the Octopope. That's gonna be bad, especially with Scenarios coming in.
There's a lot of aggression going out. Button Masher gets caught.
They're going really aggressive onto the Sona, which is probably exactly what they want. Scenarios gets picked up by that ward, not the ward, by the creeps there, and Gigas Leviathan also picked up by the ward. So that's just gonna be No gank in bot lane, thank you very much. We're just gonna back it out. Meanwhile, top lane, Galtrack goes in on Rogue Samurai. Rogue Samurai taunts out, doesn't have his flash up, gets feared. A really good stun out of Gaeo's man right there. And in they go. They're gonna tower dive this, they should get a kill on Shen. Burns the ultimate for it. Don't know if worth. Probably worth, considering that it's a bonus 210 physical damage.
Ooh.
Probably wasn't gonna get the kill without it. Good use of 7 Plague's ultimate there. Just give a little bit more tank to his Jinx after soaking up that ultimate from Ezreal. Although he probably wants to get the hell out of there. 1 or 2 more Qs will probably spell death for him. Maybe even just the 1. Just a lot of damage.
A lot of aggression coming out of this bot lane now between Button Masher. It looks like that Canarius is gonna dive!
Oh! Whiffs his ulti, but it doesn't matter. Awesome Source Rex has enough damage. Looks like Jinx is gonna try to pick up a trade kill.
Oh!
Make it! Button Masher walking out with 5 HP and top tower goes
Oh!
to Shen. Shen ulti saves Gigas Leviathan's life.
Blood all over the map there. A huge dive that came out of Canarius onto the bot lane. Of course, his ultimate missed, which meant he got no bonus at all for the kill. And then Button Masher nearly died, tanked up the tower for the whole of that engage, and was so close to death. I bet you Omega Crab Legs and 7th Plague were crying when they saw his health as he walked away. Really tight play overall by Fr0stbyte here. Pick up a dragon for it. They managed to get the pressure down in top to pick up the tower as well. Huge gold lead. Now starting to... great counter pressure, of course, by Legion of the Octopope there to pick up that tower in the top lane. The gold lead now sitting at about 1,500 gold, which isn't bad for a 14-minute, for being 14 minutes into the game. But there is a big psychological advantage here on Fr0stbyte with that 6-1 kill lead.
It's actually 2,500 gold advantage.
2,500. I'm bad at maths.
Which is a bit better for them.
A little
looks
bit
like they're trying. Yeah, it looks like they're gonna try and pressure bot tower as well. Legion of the Octopope know they need to keep the pressure up somehow. But it's a little bit of a struggle. Jinx is a little bit behind on CS. Nocturne is well ahead, but that doesn't translate to a huge amount when you're going like super tank Nocturne. You need to be like presence felt in gank style of Nocturne for that kind of thing. Orianna and Lux have virtually identical CS, the only difference of course being that Gigas Leviathan has a kill. And Shen is well out farming Elise actually. Jesus. That pressure in the early game really, really helped out.
One thing that's crucial to look at here is the item difference between the two teams. Fair enough, top lane, Phage, Haunting Guys, 125 gold difference between those items, really close there. Jungle, big difference having the Blessing of the Ancient Golem picked up already. And of course there's 40 CS difference between those two junglers. Huge difference right there. Mid lane, they're kind of similar. It looks like Vinius has said, I'm happy with my Chalice of Harmony, it's not important. Galdrag though is going hard in bot lane onto Button Masher.
Yep, Button Masher blows his ulti, gets hit by the Jinx rocket, burns flash, don't know if worth, but again, another kill, it's another dollar. Galtrack really tanky, he can tank tower for this if Omega Crablegs and 7th Plague have proper follow-up, but it looks like Orianna is coming down, Gigas Leviathan hanging around in that tri-bush, there's no vision there, but if she breaks into lane, they might be able to see her. She's got the speed boost, if they can, yeah, they took out the creep wave as it's coming forward. Now it's all about whether or not Galtrack hangs around. Omega Crablegs and 7th Plague, they're in huge danger right now. Cenarius comes out, throws down the cube, gonna throw the ulti, both get stunned. Orianna's there as well. 7th Plague blows ulti on himself, gonna die anyway. Awesome Source Rex, they back out from the tower. They probably could have dived and taken that Jinx really comfortably.
They didn't even use the ult of Gigas Leviathan there as well, which is quite interesting to see.
Yep.
They definitely had a lot more pressure that could have gone out.
Like, he's got blue buff, it's a 70-second cooldown, burn it, get a kill, be happy. Like, put the command protect onto Ezreal, let him go forward, let him take a tower shot or two, and then just get him back out really, really comfortably. Especially if he can land EQ onto Jinx, he'll just take her out straight away.
Really tight play though, they're playing very safe here. Things that have got to really be given quite a lot of attention right now. Awesome Source Rex had completed a Trinity Force at 14 minutes. He is doing a lot of damage right now. He's just picked up his 5th kill with the 20 CS lead, so that goal difference is really going to be felt. He'll probably pick up his Berserker Groove some point soon. So there's a lot going down. A lot of aggression here in the mid lane.
Ooh, alright. Oh, really good position by Gigas Leviathan. Just barely gets the kill. He used Command Dissonance to move himself out of the way of the Final Spark. Final Spark, obviously you want to use it as kind of a disengage tool because it has that little bit of wind-up time. So using it point blank into the Gigas Leviathan meant that he kept his head. He was like, okay, Dissonance, run. and just space himself far enough away that he could right-click down Lux. And I feel his passive may have come into play there. Obviously not a lot of people pay attention to the Clockwork wind-up passive that's on Orianna, but it does come into play in one-on-one trades like that, because it ramps up in damage for every continuous auto attack that is landed. So it may have helped him out there, just barely eking out that kill with like 100 health left on him.
Yeah, he made it. He played that very well, made sure the auto attacks were going down all the time as he was staggering between his abilities. And a really nice shockwave, got the ignite down. It was a really tight play there by Gaelic. And of course, it's now paying its dividends. He's 2-0-1 as opposed to the 0-2-0 of Avinius. He has completed his Athenes and Holy Grail. Also got a tier, so ready to spam out spells with a lot of mana usage right there. Huge mana regen and of course an increased mana pool. Ghostman's trying to get a bit hairy here onto Rogue Samurai, but Rogue Samurai's going to walk away quite safely. One thing that's really crucial right now as well, Rogue Samurai feels so confident in his top lane, he's rushing a Trinity Force. He's gone triple Doran's items and a Trinity Force, so he's not going to get very tanky for a good few minutes right now. He's pretty soon going to have, he's probably going to have his money for his Trinity Force, and about 1200 gold's time, he'll be able to pick it up. And he's also picked up some Berserker Greaves, which is a really interesting buy as well. So he's going for a heavy damage build on a tank here, as we see Button Masher land the crescendo onto 7th Plague.
Yep, 7th Plague blows his ulti on himself. Really good snare from Omega Crablegs. Dodges the Cenarius' ulti. 7th Plague, gotta go down here to the Ezreal. Oh, to the W? Interesting. Omega Crablegs, flash from Cenarius into the Q. That's probably enough to slow down Omega Crablegs. Really good use of darkness to let Omega Crablegs out of that fight. Omega Crablegs blows his ulti, starting to throw down all his spells, all that damage. A little bit of AoE burst coming down as well because he switched over to Fishbones. Galtrak, trying to force Awesome Source Rex to use his Arcane Shift into the final spark. Didn't quite work out. Galtrak not tanky enough to go toe-to-toe with Ezreal, especially not while the Phage passive is still active. But that was a nice kind of turnaround there. 1-for-1 on the supports from what was looking to be a 2-for-0. So,
really, again, really good counterplay there that came out from Galdrak there and Avinius. They managed to both roam, Avinius and Giggles Leviathan roamed down at the same time, and Avinius was the one who made his pressure felt. They managed to pick up the kill onto Button Masher GG, overall making it a 1-for-1. So, really good counterplay using that paranoia from Galdrak. I have to say, get a great play from Galdrak here. His team are behind because of that early pressure from Canarius and some really strong laning overall. But every time he has come in, he's used Paranoia and his Flash, and he's secured kills using those two really big cooldown abilities. If they were a little bit lower cooldown, he'd really be starting to carry his team a lot harder here. But what he's going to do right now, he's going to make himself super tanky and keep pressuring and counter-engaging wherever he can using that pseudo-global to his advantage. Really strong play there from Galdrak.
Yep. We haven't actually seen, we've seen one amazing Shen ulti come out of Rogue Samurai so far, but he's keeping it up at all times, which I think is really smart play by him. You want to just burn that at ridiculously key engages. You don't want to just, oh wow, that Shen is really fast. 450 move speed when he gets the proc. It's really good. He wants to keep that up at all times, just for those ridiculous key engages, just in case Awesome Source Rex is about to go down. Anytime that he can try to counter-engage. We may see it here? No, there's going to be a back off. But, a lot of Shens will spam their ulti the second that, any kind of fight goes down, if it's a key engage or not. If there's a target going down for it, if there's something important going down. But he's keeping it up, and it's really good. Another trade, a turret being taken mid for bot on trade between the two teams right now. Ooh, big fight breaking out in mid. Galtrak, throws his ulti. Galtrak going in, trying to keep him off Gausman. Gausman potentially gonna go down to the burn from red buff. Nope, that was from the W proc. That tower gonna take out Sejuani, but Elise and Lux are both dead. Galtrak's just kind of hanging around, being tanky. Can't really do anything about this. There's 4 people taking out his mid tower, and they're gonna roll the next one. It's a trade for tier 2 but I don't know if they can trade Inhibitor Tower. Rogue Samurai uses his flash, trying to go in on Galtrak, tanking up the tower for Awesome Source Rex. Galtrak gotta get that cooldown off in 7 seconds on his taunt, but not enough. Really good dodge from Galtrak to try and just avoid the Ezreal ulti. Makes it out. They do take the tier 2 in bot lane. Oh, that's so close! 80 HP left on Awesome Source Rex if Nocturne had his ulti up, which he does. Is it in range? I don't think it is, and I don't think he has vision.
So close there. A great super mega death rocket from Omega Crablegs trying to pin down Awesome Source Rex. but the health from that Trinity Force kept him alive. That one Ruby Crystal into the face has just kept him ticking over. Great push there from Fr0stbyte in the mid lane. They managed to put down a huge amount of pressure. They're trying to catch Button Masher. Paranoia's out of range. It fails completely. Oh.
Well, they didn't have vision on him. He took out the ward as Paranoia went off, and the vision faded before he could trigger it.
Wow, so close. Maybe a bit too trigger happy there from Galdrak, determined to make sure that every one of his Paranoias could kill something. Tried to go for the support, but couldn't quite do it because of the vision.
Yep. Obviously, he's probably a bit steamed about that Ezreal getting away on 80 HP. He doesn't want to have that. He wants to try and pick up a kill in response to it. But, like, we've all been trigger happy. We've all blown ultis from Lucius, so that's just really unfortunate, especially when it's kind of key that he keeps his ulti at the ready to secure anyone who's even minorly out of position. Like, Shen can make up for them being out of position, but they obviously know that Stand United is down. It was used in that last team fight. Oh, I did not know that Sejuani's Q made those bombs whiff. And it looks like the ulti goes down on Evinius and 7th Plague. Ulti out of Orianna. Huge damage out of Awesome Source Rex. Just melts her down. 7th Plague in trouble here. Cenarius not giving up the chase on the Lulu. She wants them cupcakes. Awesome Source Rex, good dodge on the Jinx, what's it called again? Zap? And then a pickup on the kill. Yep. Even though he was exhausted, he still had the damage output to just bring her down super fast.
Sweet Ezreal mechanics coming out of Awesome Source Rex there, which is really great to see. Using the movement speed increase of the Phage component of the Trinity Force to keep things moving. The cooldown decrease on the Mystic shot, really a key component. And then a beautiful Mystic, Arcane Shift, able just to get over the wall. A bit more damage there to pick up the kill. And of course, dodge the Zap. More fights breaking out.
In. Flash from Button Masher, really good ulti, but not gonna pick up a kill here, I don't think. Oh, Geus, man, no good target to go on. Gets picked up, exhaust burned on him, but possibly a waste, but it does secure the kill really comfortably. And it looks like Omega Crablex and Geus. Oh, down goes Galtrack. I believe that is his first death this game, unfortunate. Omega Crablex walking off with about 30 HP. Triple kill.
Huge missed Arcane Barrage there. He managed to just pick him up onto about the 50 HP Omega Crab Legs for the triple kill. Amazing Ezreal mechanics coming out of Awesome Saurus Rex here. Really impressive to watch. He's really key in these team fights, and he's making his pressure really well felt. Last Whisper completed. His damage is huge. Any armor that's going to be picked up here isn't going to be that well felt because of the armor penetration. And 12 kills. He's going to do a lot of damage.
Yep. His damage output right now is pretty phenomenal. He's bringing down this tower like it ain't no thing, but Evinius does have his needlessly large. He does have the Athene's. Oh, in comes the ulti. Galtrack says, I hate you, Ezreal, give me that money. And Gigas Leviathan trying to flash away. Galtrack kept it up. Oh, unfortunate miss on the final spark. Galtrack going in, has his spear back off cooldown. Gigas Leviathan in big trouble. Down he goes. Oh,
those two squishies staying a little bit too long there. Gigas Leviathan did bring his dancing shoes to that little trade, but he wasn't able to dance away from a fear coming out of Galdrak. That ability giving him a huge amount of CC was just perfect for Vinius using that singular luminescent, the E of Lux. Whilst my mouth doesn't work. Lucent Singularity, that one. Uses that just to make sure that killer's picked up that. A lot of damage coming out of that. Needs the large rod and the Fiend's Lux finishing up the kill. Really strong play, of course, by Fr0stbyte to keep the pressure down. They didn't actually manage to kill the tower though, because Galdrak using that pseudo-global paranoia to such efficiency just to take him on down there. Galdrak now 3-1-3, and I think that is a very just scoreline for him there. He has been putting down a huge amount of pressure.
He's been putting work in all over the map. It's like we said, like, his ganks at the early game were pretty much non-existent. I think he made like one proper gank in bot lane before 6, and one like pressure relieving, presence feeling thing in mid and top each. But once he hit that paranoia, he knew he had a power spike, he knew he needed to use it. I was going to question his use of its top, but it did net them a tower after a bad trade in the bot lane, so that's pretty alright. It looks like they have vision on him doing that red buff. Awesome Saurus Rex looking to go in, Galtrack looking to possibly slip a kill. Ooh, the minions take out bot turret. You really can't ignore minions when an inhibitor's down. It's just not a done thing.
A huge amount of extra attack damage and defense and stats overall that are just given to those minions. That mean that the pressure is down in all lanes, not just the one with the inhibitor down and the super minions going at. Fr0stbyte now looking to go for a Baron attempt. Pretty gutsy considering how every member of Octopope is nearby. They do make the good call though, which is to back away. No point really risking that right now when they've got such huge pressure going down in lanes. So they don't need to start just yet. Rogue Samurai goes deep!
And then he does not get a taunt off. He gets the Q onto Omega Crablex, but nothing is really coming out of this. Gausman and Divinity is locked down. Good use of the Paranoia to keep everyone locked together. Everyone standing still, and Avinius takes the shot. Really, really beautiful. Galtrack just so tanky, standing here toe-to-toe with the Ezreal, taking all this damage. Everyone's dead around the Ezreal. Rogue Samurai goes down. 4 for 1. Osasaurus Rex, he may have been doing amazingly so far, but there's only so much you can do against a 4-man train coming for you. In comes the stun from Gausman. Ace. Really
Brilliant
well
play there. Brilliant play by Octopope. Sadly, Button Masher GG whiffed his ultimate. He turned it sideways when Galdrak had his mana shield on. His spell shield, so that the crescendo actually did nothing in that whole fight. It only hit Galdrak, and it was absorbed by him because of the spell shield, just making sure it couldn't actually take effect. And so Galdrak went in, as you said, so tanky with the Locket of the Iron Solarian, the Spirit of the Ancient Golem, huge amounts of stats, tanked the whole team whilst Avinius landed a beautiful final spark. Tons of damage dealt, and of course the teamfight went in the way of Octopope. This could now be, with the Baron being picked up, the turn going over for Legion of the Octopope. They've got such a tanky front line now. Gausman, of course, has that Sunfire Cape and a Haunted Guys as well, so he's quite tanky. With the Spiderlings and the Spellvamp that will be coming out, this could be the game going back into Octopope's favour.
That was a really, really good call by Galtrack. Even after the flash from Gausman over the wall, which meant that it was essentially a 4v5 for a brief period, Galtrack knew he was tanky enough. He knew he had the ability to survive all the damage, and it was a really, really good call to put him into the middle of the enemy team and then pop the Lulu ulti. They were all locked down, they were all knocked up, they were all slowed, and it meant that Avinius, with his huge, huge AP, sitting just below 400 AP when the fight started, with the Athenes and Holy Grail and the Rabadon's Death Cap, was able to just nuke everyone down, and then they all made a really good play on the cleanup there. It looks like Galtrack might be a little bit out of position, dodges the taunt from Shen, and 7th Plague is there to support. They're there to keep their, I want to say their MVP alive, because he's really been putting work in so hard. Obviously it's a team effort, but like, Galtrack, we keep saying that name over and over again, because he is the one who keeps making plays. Paranoia is up, so this could be something interesting about to come down. Shen going home, but he does have Stand United up, so he will just come and help out wherever he's needed. The inhibitor is back up in mid lane, but there's one more super minion pushing it. Someone may need to pay attention to that before it knocks down the inhibitor again. So this pressure may just go nowhere.
Yeah, well, Octopope is trying to make sure this Baron buff is felt. They are going to have to go back, but Fr0stbyte aren't going to drop the ball. They may have lost that team fight, but they are still keeping up. They've now sent Rogue Samurai into the top lane and said, you missed that flash, go and split push, giving them a bit of a disciplinary there. But of course, that Stand United will be up. It will be an 850 health shield that will come out of him when that's done. They just got to keep this inhibitor alive. Final spark coming out of Avinius just to clear out some of those minions. Tower going down the top lane. Huge map pressure still coming down from Fr0stbyte here, even though they lost that team fight and the Baron. They aren't going to let this go easily.
Well, obviously they still have really, really good pressure. They've knocked down all tier 2s and one inhibitor tower on right now. So they want to keep this pressure up. Like, bot tower is sitting on about 500 health, and top tower is obviously full health. But like, there's still 2 mid towers standing, and the first one is still pretty healthy. So this could really be a question of just pushing bot lane as hard as possible. Remember, 7th Plague and Omega Crablegs took those took the tier 1 and the tier 2, while mid was getting pressured down. I believe it was mid that was getting pressured down. They traded there, yeah, and then the tier 3 got brought down after a team fight afterwards. Omega Crablegs, no, Sejuani's going back. I was going to say he could be a little bit out of position if Sejuani burned everything on a gank to remove the AD carry from the next fight. But it looks like everyone's kind of happy to just keep the pressure on and try to wait for that Baron buff to run out. It only has 25% of its duration remaining, so that is a pretty smart play right now. Trying to just wait it out, wait till the power spike is gone, and then they can re-pressure and re-engage at a better time.
Yeah, really good by Fr0stbyte here. They aren't letting that one fight go and catch them out. Of course, Octopope breathing a big sigh of relief here. With the pressure of the Baron buff, they're allowed to push back on and take a lot of stress off. They have, however, caught out Button Masher.
Galtrak with the ulti. In comes the Stone ulti as well, but it doesn't hit anyone. Shockwave on Gausman and Evinius. Evinius flash out immediately. Gausman still pretty healthy. Omega Crablegs singled out. Scenario says, I want that. She flashes away immediately. Awesome Source Rex locked down. Evinius blows the ulti. Misses Awesome Source Rex. Omega Crablegs goes down despite the Lulu ultimate. Scenario's keeping the pressure on. Galtrak trying to loop around, trying to give his team the breathing room to do enough damage. It looks like he's down, but everyone's pretty low. Awesome Source Rex still pretty decent HP. Gigas Leviathan has popped his... whatchamajigger? Can't remember the name of it, but whatever. Awesome Source Rex with the shield into barrier brings down the Deluxe. Gausman tries to go in, wants to get Gigas Leviathan. Really good repel, but it leaves 7th Plague on his own. Down goes Omega Crab.
What a
Gausman.
fight!
That's the ace.
What a fight by Fr0stbyte. Galdrak was just so desperate to make sure the Baron buff was not wasted that he pushed the button and said, let's go, Button Masher's overextended. But that time, Button Masher's Crescendo was able to do it. Got it across 3 of the members of Octopope, locking them down, followed by a 2-man ult from Gigas Leviathan. And they managed to fight so well. Look at their health bars. They are all so low. Oh! Omega Crablegs is back in the game right now. He's caping the pressure up. And Galdrak's back!
Galdrak's going straight into Omega Crablegs. Not Omega Crablegs, sorry. Also Source Rex. Omega Crablegs getting the Get Excited buff twice there, 3 times there, but didn't seem to get it on that last one, which was weird, because I thought it was on assist as well. But they've still lost both their Nexus turrets. Bot turret is down. Top turret taking a beating. I still don't know. I don't know if they can make the comeback into this game with that inhibitor down again. And Fr0stbyte obviously learning from their last mistake in the Baron pit, 10k gold ahead. But like, this is the only one to get out of there alive. Admittedly, Shen didn't give his gold to anyone, but he's still dead. So,
a lot of pressure there removed from the map. I think Fr0stbyte was just so desperate to finish the game and stop the comeback from happening that they pushed a little bit too hard. They did, however, get those double Nexus towers, which is a lot of gold for the team. We see here, Baron's going to come up in another minute. I reckon we're going to be seeing another dance going off there, a little bit of an exchange, a split push probably from Rogue Samurai for a final push into the base there. Really, you've got to see some very tight play now from Octopope. They've got 1 inhibitor down, 1 inhibitor open, and 1 tower left on the map defending their 3rd inhibitor. It's going to be really hard for them to stay in it. Canarius putting pressure onto 7th Plague. They've just got to be so wary of the map right now. And Fr0stbyte have shown us here, they know how to work the map. They have a Shen. They can really do it. And with Canarius and Gigas Leviathan, and of course the Crescendo of Button Masher, they can catch out anyone. Ooh. Galdrak goes ham again!
Gigas Leviathan pops his Zhonya's Hourglass and is perfectly fine, and that is Galdrak's ulti down. But it is a very, very short CD at this level with this amount of CDR that he has. It's 60 seconds it comes up and down. So this is just a little bit of breathing room for Fr0stbyte right now. Legion of the Octopope gets the stun, but not really able to capitalize on it. It's a Sejuani under tower. You don't want to dive that when her team's there. Just don't. Admittedly, Shen is in bot lane, but that's a Shen split push. He does that. It's really hard to do anything about that. Jinx trying to just slap the zap on someone, trying to hit something. Getting the vroom there out of Lulu. Now. Scenarios wants to commit to this, but just fakes it in, possibly trying to get a barrier to pop. Still holding on to that ult, he still wants to use Glacial Prison. Rogue Samurai going toe-to-toe with Galtrak, but it's just like 2 brick walls falling on top of each other. Nothing's happening. Their HP's too high, their tank's too high, their regen's too high. And Gausman tried for a stun, didn't get paid. Everyone's backing out, and it looks like Fr0stbyte wants to take the Baron here.
They're probably going to get this one as well. Octopope just had to send 3 men bot. I think it was a bit of miscommunication there. You only needed 1 to go against the Shen, but 3 appeared. And against Rogue Samurai with that stand united, he said, look at who all's here. Go for the Baron. A rocket from Omega Crablegs. Oh, so close, but a really sharp smite there from Canarius. 940 damage on that smite that just took the Baron away before the final spark could really lock it up. And now the Baroned up Fr0stbyte and an inhibitor down for Legion of the Octopope. We could see a final push coming out of Fr0stbyte here. Canarius is really looking for the fight to pick. The Stand United is still available on Rogue Samurai. He's duking it out with Galdrak, who of course has got his ultimate available. Rogue Samurai putting down a lot of pressure here, using that Trinity Force and Stinger to maximum effect there, and he's onto the inhibitor. This is looking like a second inhibitor going down in favour of Frostbite. They've definitely got the map advantage now.
I've lagged out. Shit.
We'll see. We'll try and finish this one up for you. And there's huge pressure here. It's a very tanky Rogue Samurai. Cenarius goes in, lands the 5-man ultimate. Galdrak trying to go back down, but Avinius is blown up with the crescendo going on. Rogue Samurai manages to pick up the kill in the back there onto 7th Plague, and the fight is continuing. Galdrak going ham onto Awesomesaurus Rex in the back line. Gayu's trying to go toe-to-toe with Button Masher and Canarius, but the CC's finishing up with a lot of damage. Rogue Samurai is so low, but Gigas of Leviathan and Rogue Samurai managed to go and finish off the Nexus without those towers. That is game 1 going over to Frostbite. GG in that first match. In that first game. Really strong play there by Frostbite. Just trying to make sure they didn't lose the pressure. Really good counterplay by Legion of the Octopope, but sadly Galdrak's pressure just wasn't enough to tie it all up. They did so well there to try and hold on, but the inhibitor was too much for them, as was that incredibly fed Ezreal on Awesomesaurus Rex. 14-3 at the end from 12-0, and we see that in the damage. 36,000, nearly 37,000 damage coming out of Awesomesaurus Rex. Really well played. We're just going to take a little break here, guys, while we set up the next game. This will be a best of 3 match coming out here in Division 2. Don't go away. I'll play some music for you guys, and we will be back in just a minute. Don't go away.